everyone? Welcome to Bid Nerds, your daily nerd ad on the most interesting car of the day from all the automotive enthusiast auction sites. My name's John Polnik, along with my partner Michael Deeb. Today we have a very special guest. We have the talented and lovely Bradley Brownell. Look at that. Is that not the prettiest person who has ever been on the Nerds? What's up, Bradley? How are you?
That's that museum guy.
That is the museum guy. I'm pushing the wrong buttons here. He's waving. All right. I can't be trusted with buttons. I clearly don't know how to do anything but push them.
Bradley, congratulations on your appointment to the Crawford Museum. How's life in Cleveland?
It's pretty great. I'm loving life. Got a new place, and wife is happy, and job's great. Dog's happy. All's good, man.
So you're a Michigan guy living in Ohio. Where is your wife from? Is she also Midwestern, or is she thinking about a divorce because you moved her to Cleveland?
No, we're high school sweethearts, buddy. We grew up in the same place in Michigan. Yeah.
What part of Michigan are you from?
Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo. Oh, wow. Do you remember hearing about the San Francisco twins, the two ladies that used to come in, Vivian and Miriam? Anyway, they were famous.
No.
They did like the double mint ad, and they were all over San Francisco. They would dress two little old ladies that were like 4'5", and they would dress identical, and they did a lot of media stuff. They would come to my restaurant for, God darn, like nearly 20 years, and people would come and take pictures with them and all this stuff, and they would always be dressed identically when they would do this lunch and dinner excursion on Tuesday nights at my restaurant. And they would get hammered, but they would talk about their opening line was that they were from Kalamazoo, Michigan. And then one of them would say who was born first, and then the other one would elbow her out of the way and say, well, God saved the best for last, and all this stuff. They were funny, but they're from your hometown, and they made quite a splash in San Francisco until they died off a couple years ago.
Yeah, on that
yeah, Kalamazoo, Michigan, in the house. Listen, all the guys that are watching this show know exactly who the San Francisco twins are. You guys are just nerds. You don't know.
Well, we just doubled our viewership because we had 4 people, and now we got the entire Kalamazoo market. So nice work, Michael Deeb. Thanks for increasing our viewership.
That's a value add.
That's true. For those of you from Kalamazoo who are just joining us, you've never heard of this show, but you heard that you've got a hometown Kalamazoo boy, and that's why you're tuning in. This is the Bid Nerds. We find the most interesting car of the day. We dig through all the automotive auction sites like Bring a Trailer, Cars and Bids, and more. We find that most interesting car. We have a quick conversation about that car, and then we make a prediction. Will the car sell? Will it not sell? How many bids will it get, and what will it get bid to? We are going to reveal at the end of the episode what actually happens with this particular car, and you can play along. It's kind of like The Price is Right, only no one wins a prize. Michael Deeb, today's car. I think you picked this one for me. Obviously, I am not a cabriophobe, and I live in a town, unlike Kalamazoo, where I could probably drive this all year long. It's not going to be, because here in Las Vegas, it's not going to be covered with snow in a minute. What do we got?
Look at this, JP. On PCAR Market is this 1987 Porsche 911 Carrera Cabriolet offered to us out of Newtonville, New York. It's always interesting, JP, since we started doing the show, and we talk about our listeners potentially buying this car, where they are regionally throughout the country, what time of year it is, certainly affects the value and the logistical ease or complication to get that car out of such region to where you might reside in your hometown. And so here we are, a New York car. I'm either going to pay for storage or I'm going to sell this thing because I'm not driving it anymore. It's too damn cold. This car, JP, just looked spectacular on PCAR Market. What makes it so special, it has just 18,000 original miles. And when I perused the photos, I thought the car looked pretty damn clean. There's some interesting photos, JP, as you go through the book, the shots underneath. And Brad, you will appreciate this. Actually, I don't think you care because Bradley would have anything. But I love it. As a guy who loves to have like the nicest car you can afford, there's still all the factory cobbling on the bottom of the engine and the gearbox. This car to me looks like a time machine, John. It's absolutely spectacular. It looks like to be in brand new condition. So I just thought it was worth taking a look at. Grand Prix white G50, not the most common color on this car. G50 gearbox, just a great cabriolet. And maybe at this time of the year, do we expect cabrios to go for a little less money because half the country isn't really buying this car? I thought that would be something to look at. Bradley, I know you had that yellow 912 that you drove around the earth twice, but like, have you a cabrio? Are you a cabrio guy? I mean, in Cleveland, this is a big no for you, right? Like,
no way. Oh, I've got a couple convertibles now. I've got a Cadillac Alante, and I've got a Nissan Figaro. So yeah, during the summer months, a
Nissan Figaro. I mean,
yeah, man.
Oh my!
You in a Nissan Figaro? Are you sticking? Is your head sticking out of the California top on that thing?
Yeah,
Those are not big.
Way.
No, you fit in that sucker?
It's perfect size.
Nice.
Perfect size.
All right.
Yeah. He actually puts the Nissan Figaro in the trunk of the Alante.
Wow.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
No, I love a convertible. I'm a big convertible guy. I've had a couple of Mustang convertibles and a few things here throughout my life. So I had a Boxer for a long time. I still have it, but it's a pack car now.
Oh, that's awesome. Very cool.
So yeah, I'm a big convertible guy. I love convertibles.
Bradley is no
cool.
Bradley is no cabrio phobe. I just wanted to put it out there, just so we know we're all here.
This dome likes the heat, so
yeah,
bring it on. This car looks really, really nice. It's very well presented. I mean, 18,000 miles, it better be nice, you know.
Yeah.
It's a shame that it hasn't been driven more, but it is. You know, this is the kind of thing that is nice enough that probably belongs in a museum or on display somewhere. If anybody wants to buy it and send it to a museum, I'm happy to take it.
Bradley, you and John really know air-cooled. I've learned a lot from both you guys. There seem to be some comments about the wing in this car. Can I naively and safely assume that the cabrios in the late 80s were never offered with a wing, that would have just been like a dealer-installed option, or somebody bought it? Even if it's a factory part, they bought it after they bought the car, and the cabrios just showed up in showrooms free of a wing. And this was originally from, Germany with a wing. Is that a true statement, or did they sell cabrios with wings and I'm just not fully comprehending?
Boy, I mean, at that time, in '87, Porsche probably would have sold you anything that wasn't bolted down. So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody special ordered something. But yeah, more than likely, a convertible would not have come with a wing.
Interesting.
But depending on what dealer you bought it from, you could just say, hey, I want a wing, and they would order one and put it on for you.
Absolutely. Right. So, and that I fully understand. I just wanted to know if either of you guys would stand on a statement that, oh, yeah, this car wouldn't have come out of Germany with the wing, and so it had to be put on later, because clearly the wing's been on the car its whole life. And so some guys were batting that back and forth in the comments. And then, Bradley, aesthetically, do you like a wing on a convertible? Because I don't. I personally would take the wing off if that were my car.
Yeah. I would say that would be the first thing to go, or maybe the only thing to go in my eyes there. I also really don't like the UFO third brake light either, which would have been necessary with a wing, but that kind of ruins the wing look for me altogether anyway. So I would want a what was that, 85 that was mandatory, I think. So I would want an 83, 84 cabrio if I was going to get a cabrio anyway. Yeah, cool. with a wing, or anything with a wing, I would want a 385.
Yeah,
but anyhow,
yeah.
I have to digress just a little bit. I've got to say, this car is currently bidding at $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Why waste your time? Why would anybody bid $5,000 on this car? This is such it's one of the things that I hate the most about these auction sites, especially it happens on Bring a Trailer, where somebody will bid $1,968 on a 1968 whatever, Like, dude, you're not going to get it for that. And it's not going to be, it's going to be, you're just wasting everybody's time, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
$5,000. Come on.
As the seller, you're excited because you see you get the notification that, oh, there's a bid, and then you're like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Right.
Should
lame.
there? Well,
Like,
that's a good question, Bradley. Do you think there should be? There are reserves on all the auction sites. I don't know of any of the auction sites that don't have reserves, or at least that reserves aren't an option. You can have a no reserve auction, but the vast majority of sellers choose to have a reserve.
Sure, right.
Should the auction sites, should one of the auction sites or all of them employ a minimum bid? Should there be like starting bid at, okay, it's got to start here, otherwise what are we talking about?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think so. Look at, you could even if it started at half of what traditionally these have been sold for, like start somewhere at least reasonable. I mean, this is insulting. That's all I want to say about it. Isn't
it all about
$5,000?
From the website's point of view? Isn't it all about action and interaction and people actually responding and doing stuff? I think the websites like having that interaction happening as opposed to not being a lot of action.
But this guy's not gonna buy it. John Blackie, old timer. That guy's not buying this car. He's not. There's no way. He's bidding $5,000. He's going to be out at 10.
It's always in for like. I'm surprised that he didn't bid 5,911 because that's really
11.
the move, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or 964. A lot of times when we're doing our bids, when it's Porsches, I always think I should add the whatever version of Porsche is at the end of the number just so we might get a Yahtzee.
I'm gonna bid 426.9.
Yeah,
God,
exactly.
dude, just grow up.
Oh man,
grow up.
I think it really is about the action. I think it is exciting to see the bids, and I think it gets people going. Because I mean, when you go to if you go to a live auction, they don't really start at a minimum bid. Does Barrett Jackson have a minimum bid? Do they just let people go?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Like $1,000
they have an auctioneer.
Yeah.
No, they have an auctioneer that starts the bid, and he'll say,
"Do we have
some
I hear number?
$42,000? Yeah, whatever." In the
that
case
would
of something
be interesting.
Like this,
yeah. And Barrett Jackson and Mika,
and it goes down.
They always start the opening bid way higher than they should.
Yes.
And they just see if
100%.
anybody's willing to open it really high. And they usually then have to back down from there. Like, let's start it at $100,000. Like, do I get 50? Will anybody give me $30,000 for this car? All right, I'll start the auction at 5,000. And 3 people raise their arm.
Yeah.
And then away we go.
I can't imagine it would be difficult to write some code that did something like that. Like, okay,
you wouldn't even have to code it. You wouldn't even have to code it. The person who's setting the bid, who's writing the listing, going through all this effort, they know what cars worth and know what the reserve is. So if they did, I mean, they couldn't make it half the reserve on people know what the reserve is. But if you just made it like something in the ballpark of reasonable.
Yeah,
say $20,000 under reserve or $30,000 under reserve or whatever, just to like get people who are actually interested in owning this thing, because the real bidding, the frenzy of bidding, is between 2 or 3 guys at most.
Yeah,
so you're getting them in, and it's at the very end. I've really bowed out, but I always bow out at reasonable prices. I'm not going to come into a bid at $60,000 for a car that's worth $1 million.
Yeah,
I mean that's just insulting.
Well, and what's interesting here, Bradley, is this old timer Jackie Black or whatever his name is. He bid $5,000 to get a rush off of putting his name as like somebody who's looking at this car.
Yeah,
car market took a deposit on his credit card for that
yes.
bid. They've already
100%.
He won't get his money back until like 5 days
until
after the auction. After it closes. Yeah. He's out. He did that, and he got a notification on his phone that someone just took money out of his account, and he's probably like, "What the f?"
And he's calling customer service right now to complain at somebody.
Yeah.
It's like 10% of the bid or something, right? So he's out like
Yeah.
$500.
Absolutely. Yeah. They swiped his card.
Oh,
They
Yeah.
rolled
that's
his
hilarious.
money. It's so stupid.
Well, all right. Well, let's get back to the car. Let's get back to this. What I think is a really nice cabrio. You know, Bradley, cabrios in the 911 configuration not always getting the most respect. And what do
For sure.
what do you think of that? Why do you think that is? And are you going to go to the obvious stuff where it's not as rigid? No, and I know you don't believe in all that stuff, but what do you think the whole cabrio-phobe thing is about? Why are people who just have to have coupes over cabrios such racists?
I honestly, I think it goes back to journalists, and I think it's our fault. You know, I'm really a journalist anymore, but
Enemy of the people. I get it. Yeah.
yeah. But it's the fault of the writers who, for years, put so much emphasis on numbers, and back in the day, especially around this era, a Cabrio was heavier. It occasionally came with less power, not necessarily in 911s, but in some cars. It usually meant, or pretty much always meant, that it would do less well on a skid pad or on the figure eight or whatever. Yeah. And it doesn't have the same top speed usually. Right. Especially modern convertibles are usually electronically limited on their top speed. So I think there's, the spec guys. The coupe guys are the same as the PDK guys, who are like, my car's faster on track. They're like, dude, no, not with you driving. It's definitely So yeah, for sure. I think it's just like the guys who read the spec book and they go, I gotta have the best one, so they buy a coupe, even though it's a worse driving experience, because on a sunny day, what's better than the top down and smelling and hearing the sounds around you?
I love equating cabriophobes to the PDK guys. That is epic, and I think that's one of the better takes we've heard on the show. This white configuration is so hot on a 911. This is one of the few cars that I think, because the shark fin on the corner with the right amount of white on the body, I actually think the centers of the wheels, if they were painted white, that would be so 80s dope. I like them in
That'd
black.
Be way better.
Yeah, I think it would just really, really pop. Bring it down just a little bit to ROW height, and I don't even mind the wing. And I'm with Deeb on the fact that I don't think wings really belong on convertibles, but I don't care on this one. I mean, we have the Radwood guy right here, one of the founders of Radwood. Is there much that you could find that would be much radder than this by definition?
This is pretty quintessential rad. I mean, this is your yuppie, this is your valley, this is your movie star drives this. This is a really, really quintessential example of a Radwood 911. I wish it was a different color. I'm not a white guy. I think it looks great on this car. I just think if you're going to have a 911, I think it should be a color. But
well, with all that said, Michael Deeb, what do you think is going to happen at the end of the auction for this car?
I think this car is going to sell for $80,000, and I think that's what it's worth. Bradley, where are you at?
That's a lot higher than 5,000, guys. I don't know. You think it's going to climb that much?
Yeah.
Have you? How often, Bradley? How often do you get someone that they're like, "Oh, I saw this car and bring a trailer. Look, it's only going for like 22,000." You're like, "Dude, it's only a day. Shut up!" I hate it when people do that.
They listed it 6 hours ago. That's the first bid. I think this one's going to go for serious premium, especially with the low miles. Some Porsche nerd's going to pick this up and then put it in their collection, and they'll never see the light of day again, which makes me a little upset. But $100,000.
$100,000, unless it winds up in unless it winds up in your museum, is what you're saying.
Even if it wound up in my museum, I'd still get it to 20. I'd still get it to $20,000 on the odometer for sure.
Very nice.
Put another
so there it is. Someone should go ahead and buy this and put it in Bradley's museum just to save this car. All right, 100 grand. That is pretty darn aggressive for a Cabrio. I mean, it is a G50, 911 configuration, which is pretty much the best way to go. True, boy. If this car had 80,000 miles on it, it would probably be like a $50,000 or $60,000 car, because the same car with a hard top with the same miles would be about probably a $80,000 or $90,000 car. So you're really saying premium here, being that it's a Cabrio. I suppose a coupe. Because usually the coupes go for 40 to 60% more. Bradley, are you saying that if this were an 18,000 mile coupe, that it would be bring somewhere around 140 to 160? And
Probably,
do you agree with that premise that the coupes tend to go 40 to 40%?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I do agree with that. Yeah. Premium coupe won't get a cab. Do I agree with them being $100,000 cars? No way. But
that's a different story.
Hey, the market is what the market is.
It brings what it brings. I'm going to say 90. I think it's going to struggle to get. I think if it were on this is PCAR market, right? Yeah. If it were on Bring a Trailer, I think maybe it gets in six figures. But I don't know if PCAR market's going to be able to do it. It is in their neck of the woods, and that always bodes well for them. They really do seem to. When the cars are on Long Island or someplace like that, they tend to get the big money. So maybe I'm off on that. All right, guys, now's the time to plug in your number. This is where you do the Price is Right thing and put $1 over one of our bids, and we are going to find out what happens. We're going to jet to the future. We're going to get in our DeLorean and tell you what happens with this 911 right after this. Hey guys, I'm super excited to tell you about our sponsor, Guys Customs. That's Guys, GYX _customs. That's how you spell it. Guys Customs bracelets. These things are amazing. Check them out. They're handmade in America, custom bracelets made to match your watch or your car. These things are unbelievable. I have 3 or 4 of them myself. My partner Michael Deeb has a bunch of them. They're pretty addictive once you get one. Each one of them are bespoke. We're talking carbon fiber. We're talking titanium. We're talking stainless steel, glass. There's none of this cheap Chinese garbage that you see a lot of bracelets being made out there. These ones are super high quality. They're made right here in America. When you go to Guys Customs on Instagram, it's about the only place that you can order one of these. When you DM the artist, you're actually reaching the real artist when you DM Guys Customs at Instagram. And she will make you a bracelet made to match that special watch, that special car, or that special person that has a special watch or a special car and they want something really, really cool in their life. They make the most amazing gifts. I get compliments on mine all the time. Everywhere I go, people are like, wow, that's really cool. You can see in the pictures, these beads, the colored beads are PTS. They're paint to sample. So if you have a specific color code for your car, she'll have beads made that are specifically painted to match your car or your watch. It's unbelievable. You got to get one of these Guys Customs bracelets. Check them out. They support us, and we really, really, really want to support them. Guys Customs bracelets. All right, let's get back to the bids. Let's find out how much that car sold for today. What's up, everybody? I don't know where to look. I'm in a different spot here in the future. The problem with going into the future is that, the thing I've never understood about time travel, right, is that you're moving into a different time and space, but, the planet moves, right? So if you go into the future in the exact same spot, and now the planet moved away. Apparently, the planet is about 2.5 feet away from where, or maybe 3 or 4 feet from where it was when we were recording the other half of the show. Because usually I'm on the other side of the desk, and snap, we're here. I don't know, man. This time travel thing, I don't have it sorted out.
I looked at the camera and I was going to say, damn, Dwayne Wick has got a haircut, huh?
I know, right? And lost a few inches. Anyways, welcome back, everybody. We are talking about the most interesting car of the day from all the automotive enthusiast auction sites. But you know that because this is the second half of the show. We lost Bradley Brownell probably because he doesn't like cabrios. That's not entirely true. I'm just messing with him. Bradley's not a cabrio phobe. What happened with this beautiful 87 911? I love this thing, man.
Well, JP, this was really interesting, right? So we got this super low mile 87 cab that looks to be like kind of mint, but they put it on PCAR Market. And, every once in a while we wonder, will a car do as well on PCAR that we know for certain would have done great on Bring a Trailer? And I think that was the case here. So our 87 cab, G50, and under 20,000 miles, Bradley Brownell drank the Kool-Aid and said, I don't care about the platform. That car is going to bring $100,000. I was a bit more pragmatic. In fact, the most of the bunch, mine was the low bid at $80,000. And JP, you straddled the middle at $90,000 as your bid. Well, our car failed to sell at $75,000 on 23 bids and wound up in the deal tank for $100,000, Bradley Brownell's bid. So I think Bradley guessed the value of the car correctly, but did not predict where it would land correctly on this platform. I think you and I were a bit closer because we just wonder sometimes. We know that PCAR Market will say yes to anybody that wants to do business with them, and they'll basically let you dictate where the reserve is, knowing full well that if it doesn't sell at auction, they have the rights to your car for the next 3 weeks where it will wind up in their deal tank. And that's what happened here. JP, do you think this car is burnt, or do you think somebody will find it for $100,000 and it'll sell post, or he might entertain an offer closer to your bid at like 90 or 95 and it does wind up selling? Or is it too late in the year for a guy to be gambling so cavalier on a Cabriolet on the East Coast?
Yeah, that's the big problem. Is this they're going into the winter season. This car needs to be packed away. It's going to be pretty tough to sell it on the East Coast. I did see this car. Yeah, I saw this car on a forum. I can't remember if it was the PCA classifieds or if it was like Pelican or something like that over the weekend. The guy has it listed for 95. So it's interesting. His price in deal tank is 100. He's probably ticked off, so he doesn't want. He probably doesn't want. PCAR Market to get the sale. So he's like, fine, it's going to be overpriced there, and he's offering it for a more reasonable number on the forums, which is where he should have probably put this car in the first place. My guess is he went, he realized that, on BAT he would have been right in the middle of winter to find that, it takes so long to get on the platform. Yeah. So he's like, all right.
You don't want to run your car during the holidays. That would be a rotten time to sell your car.
Yeah, so I think this guy's stuck with it till spring, and it's kind of like, this is a really difficult car to be, let's call it, stuck with, because let's face it, if we haven't seen we're definitely seeing a cool off on the market in general in all types of asset classes, and the question is I know of people who are selling homes and they're like, well, we didn't sell it, so we're going to go ahead and take them off the market and try to sell in the spring. And normally that's not a bad strategy. But right now, given the election results and the economy and all the different things that are just kind of like looming, is the economy going to get better? Is waiting till spring the better thing to do here? Or is this the kind of thing that, all right, there's still enough heat right now in fall, sell it for whatever you can get it for? Is the market just going to completely drop out by the time the birds are chirping in March? I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's a big gamble, and I think the answer to that question is different for each individual based on what their financial situation is. If the car is just a toy, you can afford to wait till the spring. But if the car is part of your financial portfolio, you got to make a smart decision, even if it's a conservative one, by creating a sense of urgency and getting that car off the books. Because because you could get caught holding the bag next winter or next spring when everything starts to thaw. The economy might not be one of them, you know?
Yeah, right. And I mean, and we could be looking at, I mean, by all accounts, almost everyone's, it's 18 to 24 months till we see any kind of recovery, if at all. So we definitely got interest rates going way up with no indication that they're going to go down. So cars like this are going to be harder to buy. People are not going to have all kinds of excess equity. There's not, the Feds aren't printing money like they were a minute ago. They're not buying up all the bonds. They're not doing any buying the There's no quantitative easing going on, guys.
The party is over.
Yeah, they are not here to help. And how many layoffs have there been? And all the big tech companies are talking about
a whole bunch more coming.
Yep. Freezes at Apple and
out here in the I'm right in the heart of tech out here in the Bay Area. I mean, I listen to the radio a lot, and every time I get little bits on the news, this getting ready to lay off these many people and blah 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 is going to, some big company is going to lay off people for the first time in 18 years. I mean, the check is due, the party's over. You know what I mean? Like it's time to all the loans are being called, man. It's going to get ugly.
Well, and then there's the other thing too. It's like, look, it's the weird thing that's going on with the tech companies in particular is that, in that sector, a lot of these companies are hiring freezes and layoffs aren't necessarily reflections of a company that's in trouble. What it is that they are looking at their cash flow and saying, all right, well, there's going to be no free money if we need money. There's like private equity is going to be the only place that, if these companies want to, get more money, if they want to expand or do something. So they're going, we better be profitable. Because right now,
so for the last on paper.
Yeah, they don't just have to look good on paper. They have to actually make money. They have to, they have to have be profitable. They have to have, they have to start paying their stockholders, and because it's entirely possible, and a lot of these smaller tech companies that have been running on just the free money that's being thrown around, now they're sitting there going, all right, they got to either tighten the belt right now, make the decision, because if they don't now, if they wait till later, there will be no money to bail them out. So it's a tough situation around. So, back to the cars. An 87 convertible 911, something
in the winter.
In the winter. I don't know. I mean, you put the top up, turn the heat on, and look good doing it during the apocalypse. That's what I always say. What do you guys think? Let's hear. We want to hear what you guys think is going on in the economy. What do you think of the results of this Cabrio? Do you think that the owner should dump it right now for whatever they can get? Should they have taken the money and run, or should they just hold on to it and just keep it forever?
I have an idea. If you're on the East Coast and you were thinking, I'm either going to sell my car or winterize it, I think you should send a car like this. You should have sent it to Paul Kramer and have him consign it for you. He's got a great list. He's got buyers in California that don't experience winter. They love their air-cooled convertibles in the wintertime. In December in LA, it could be 75 degrees outside. I mean, you could have your convertible year-round if you want. I just think, and Paul makes no nonsense. Anyway, let's get him on the show. I'm going to have to call him next week. Let's get him on the show next week.
I think that's a good plan. All right, guys, we will see you tomorrow with another most interesting car of the day. Bye.
Get those words!